So it's asked for advice for folks in their early 20s. And I want to start by saying that I don't assume that all of you are in your early 20s. There's a wide age range of students at Temple. Um, I continue to take classes myself. The last time I took a class was um, in the fall, so just fairly recently. But this specific question was about advice for folks in their early 20s. Um, I would say, first of all, know that it's going to logically or likely take a while to find your place in a career, and you're not necessarily finding your place in a single career that you're going to stick with for the rest of your life, but you're simply finding a place to get you started. When I graduated from college, I initially thought I want to try to launch a career as a poet, and I didn't know what that looked like. So I would spend time every day working on my poetry and researching poetry journals that I could send my poems off to, thinking if I could just publish a few poems to get started, that would be the place to start. I managed to get one poem published in a journal that was, when I got my copy, it was basically stapled together. But I worked on that for months, and while doing that, I paid the bills by being a busboy at Chili's, and um, I worked a few hours a week in a law office, just refiling the stacks of files that the lawyer would take out and then throw on the floor afterwards. And I did a little bit of substitute teaching. So it was a while before I figured out, like, now it's time to do something else. And that next thing ended up being an internship. And then the thing after that was working at a summer camp for kids. And then the thing after that was going to graduate school. And then I started to build on that. So I graduated from graduate school at 28 and came to Temple and started the career that I have now. But I graduated undergrad at 20. So for those 8 years in between, I was trying to find my way through. And you will likely have that, and that's okay. The big piece of advice I give you is when you can, and it will take a while before you're ready for this, but when you can, try to figure out how to get your money straight. And that's not about getting rich. It's about not needing to be rich. And I say that as someone who didn't understand money. My parents didn't talk to me about money. We didn't have money when I was growing up. And even though we didn't have money, we also didn't actively talk about how to save money. And it turned out that was because we weren't saving money, that my family was building a lot of credit card debt. And I eventually started building a lot of credit card debt. And in my early 30s, it got to the sort of maximum point where I had about $28,000 of credit card debt, and which is a lot. And I had always thought one day I'll make a lot more money and then I'll just pay off these bills and it'll be fine. That made sense in graduate school. I thought I'll have a better paying job after graduate school. But then I wasn't paying off the bills when I started my job at Temple for the first several years. And it's because I didn't know what I needed to know about money and how money works. And I had a bad relationship with money. I read a book called The Money Broke for the Young, Fabulous, and Broke by Susie Orman. And I followed her advice, and it helped me take care of many of those things. I have plenty of critiques of Susie Orman as somebody who's gotten rich off of this system herself in a way that furthers a lot of inequalities and disparities. I don't find any of her other books particularly useful, but that particular book is written for folks who don't know what mortgage means or who don't know where to begin with thinking about retirement savings, things like that. So I needed to know all those things. And I took the bulk of her advice, and it got me largely out of debt. I owe some money on my house, which a lot of adults owe money on their house. There's nothing unusual about that. But I was able to recently pay off my student loan debt. I don't have car payments. I don't have credit card debt. It took me a long time. So it wasn't until way into my 30s that I was able to kind of get my money straight. And again, it wasn't about making more money. It was about understanding money, living below my means, and knowing how to have some control over the issues of money and the ways that money shape my life. So I want to encourage you to think about that too, but know that for a good part of your 20s, your goal is just to make some means. In other words, to make some money, to get some income. And while you're trying to bring that up, you're probably going to be living above those means until you can bring that up enough. And so you may go into some credit card debt to buy the outfit that you need for your first interviews and things like that. That's okay. Just pay attention to it and know that over time you need to develop a plan for paying down those debts. I forget which hand stands for which thing now, so don't get too caught up in that spatial explanation. But that's my advice for early 20s. Other stuff other people have to advise you on. I have no advice about love, or I don't know what are the other things people care about. So I'm going to leave that to you. Not that money's the only thing I care about, but it's the thing that I didn't know enough about and I was able to learn something about. And that's why I think that's the insight that I want to pass on. I'll leave it there. Thank you.